All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be talking about Lesson 5.4, identifying and writing proportions. You do have two vocabulary words which hopefully you picked up and glued into your spiral already. Those vocabulary words, the first one is equivalent ratios. And an equivalent ratio is ratios that name the same comparison, which anytime in math, whenever you say equivalent, really what we're talking about equals. Okay, so we're talking about basically ratios that equal each other. And a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equivalent. Again, anytime you see the word proportion, it means equal. Okay, so let's take a look at our examples here. Our first one says determine if the ratios are proportional. Now, remember, we just said that our definition for proportional means equal. So we're trying to determine if these two fractions right here equal each other. On our first one, it's going to be 2/7 and 6/21. Now, we could do this a couple different ways. We could find common denominators for them, or we could also cross multiply. That will also work. Okay? Now, if I cross multiply on these guys, let's see what I get. Okay, so if I have 7 times 6, that gives us 42. 2 times 21 also gives us 42. So, on number 1, these are proportional, so your answer might be like, yes, they are proportional. Okay? It's that simple. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 asks us the same thing, are these two fractions proportional? Now, they are a little bit different because, well, my numbers certainly are bigger. So we could cross multiply these again and get our answer. I'm going to go ahead and simplify these first to see if that helps us any. Okay, I know that 2 will go into both 6 and 20. So that would be what? 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And on 8 and 24, I know that, what, 4 will go into both of those, 2 will go into both of those, but also 8 will go into both of those. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So we'll get 1/3. Again, I don't have common denominators here, but I could use these two numbers to cross multiply, and that's a little bit easier than using these larger numbers. So if I multiplied my 3 and my 3, cross multiply those guys, that does give me 9. And then my 10 and my 1, cross multiply those guys, that gives me 10. Okay, so that gives me 10 and 9. So on that one, those are not proportional, so my answer on that one might be like no. Yeah, it's that simple. Okay? As you can see, this is not terribly difficult. Really, this is a building block lesson for the lessons that we have coming up. Okay? We have to know how to do this skill before we're going to be able to do our next skill that we're going to attempt next week. Now, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 and number 4 is what we're going to be focusing on our homework this evening, and it asks us to find equivalent ratios. Remember, equivalent just means equal. So we're trying to find fractions that equal to, say, 8/14 or 4/18 or something like that. Okay? There's a bunch of different things we could do. Look, we notice that 2 goes into both of these. So we could say 8 divided by 2 is 4. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 4/7. That's an equivalent fraction. But we could also multiply them times 2. We could make this, say, 16/28. That would be equivalent. We could multiply it times 10. We could make it 80/140. Any of those are acceptable. Those are all equivalent ratios. They equal each other. I mean, if we were to simplify these, they would simplify back down to, say, 8/14 or 4/7. They all equal. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Now, on number 4, we're basically doing the same thing. We could simplify these by dividing. I know that 2 goes into both of those, so we could make this 4 divided by 2 is 2, 18 divided by 2 is 9. I could also multiply it times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 18 times 2 is 36. We can multiply it even times 10, which would give us 40 over 180. Again, all of those are equivalent ratios. Okay, and that's what we're looking for on our assignment today.